Alrighty. We are live. I feel like my desk is further away from the wall than usual. I don't remember moving it, to be honest. What up, Trail Tech? How we doing? What up, Woodman? Good to see you. New toys, that's right. We got a new customer build going out. How's everybody doing today? What is going on? Oh, that just reminded me. I never switched this camera back. Hold on, hold on. The focus looks good right now, but it might not later. There. What up, Mr. Rainbow? You have questions? Yeah, shoot away. Shoot away. Purchase a new motherboard. It tells me the setup and the setup of this driver does not work with your OS. How can I fix that? Like you're trying to install the OS, or what? Or did you like port over a drive that already had an operating system on it? Sausage, egg, and cheese sandwich with a hash brown, drinking hot. That sounds solid, Woodman. It's cold over there? Yeah. Trail Tech, are you over on the East Coast? Trying to install drivers from the ASUS website. Have you tried just using the ASUS driver hub? Is that what you're using? Oh, yeah. So it's cold over there. East Coast, the best coast? I'm a West Coast guy. Born and raised West Coast. All right, let's talk about today's build, shall we? So this is the AMD Gamer PC. This is a pre-built option. We're probably, I'll give you guys like the scoop since you're here. Oh, you're originally from Seattle though. I'll give you guys kind of the scoop since you're in here. I'm probably going to be soon going to be discontinuing the pre-builts here pretty soon on my site, just because of how volatile the market is right now. It's so hard to keep up with the pre-built pricing. So what I'm hoping to do is I'm planning on creating a new page for ready to ship systems. That way I know exactly what I've paid for all of the parts, like they're all paid for already and ready to go. So I'll have a handful of ready to ship systems, and then everything else will be back to what I had for the longest time, which was just custom build orders. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I might have like a mid, upper, and lower tier system available for like ready to ship stuff, kind of available all the time. That way there's still kind of that option for like a quick order for people that kind of just, want to order something, like they don't necessarily need it custom tailored to them and they just want to have it as soon as possible. And then that helps me keep from having to worry so much about like constantly having to change my prices based on the volatile RAM or SSD prices, which I'm sure you guys know are insane right now. And GPU prices are starting to climb right now too. I'm probably going to have to order a handful of GPUs just to have them in stock for reasonable prices. Like I saw even like the 5060s right now have gone up a minimum of like 20-30 bucks, which isn't a ton, but that's being reflected across all of the GPU range right now for Nvidia, at least. AMD doesn't seem to be having that problem as much right now. But yeah, it's a tough time to be a PC builder right now. It's a tough time to get into PC gaming, but got to figure out ways to move forward. Yeah, so what I would do, Mr. Rainbow, is download the ASUS driver hub, because that will auto detect your motherboard model, and then it'll open up Internet Explorer or whatever, Microsoft Edge, and it'll give you all of the drivers for that motherboard that need to be installed. That's the easiest way to do it with ASUS. So I would do that. Slowly learning how PCs work now. How's your Monday? It's not too bad. Still like getting over the sickness, man. Like I feel mostly better. But it's just like constant sinus pressure and stuff. And I just can't get rid of it. It's been like a week now. But besides that, I'm doing pretty good. Applied to some more jobs. You know, we got some, you know, PC stuff going on. Working on our next video. Not a bad time. You're welcome, dude. You're welcome. All right, so today's build. So we've got the Ryzen 5 8500G. This is pretty much the cheapest AM5 processor you can get right now, other than if you can get the 7500F off AliExpress. That's kind of the only cheaper option. That'll save you about like 20 bucks. We got 32 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte of storage. Got the RTX 5060. We have a B650 plus Wi-Fi motherboard from ASUS. Got a nice little Thermalright Assassin R digital. This is not really necessary. Like the stock cooler from AMD can keep that cool, but it just doesn't look this good. And then we've got a 650 watt power supply, 80 plus gold from ASRock, and that's really it. This is a pretty straightforward. It's gonna be a quick build, so we'll probably do a lot of talking just so it doesn't end after 30 minutes. But yeah. What up, Prime Gorilla? How we doing? What do you think of pairing the 5800 XT with the 5060 Ti? That's a great option right now. If you had asked me that 6 months ago, I would have said, just go AM5. But now, with RAM prices, that's a great option to keep prices down, you know? Are you done yet? I just started, okay? We just started. Haven't even gotten the motherboard out. Yeah, it's gonna be a quick build. Like, our last build was almost 2 hours. This one's gonna be, I'm gonna be able to stretch it to an hour, I think. By chatting and not paying attention to what I'm doing, kind of thing, you know? Also, by stopping and blowing my nose, because I'm definitely gonna have to do that at least once. Apparently Windows updated my drivers automatically. The only one I really needed was the LAN driver. Oh, really? It doesn't even have an update for your like chipset drivers? Because Windows does not typically download that. What up, Foolish VR Original? How we doing? Speaking of blowing my nose, it's already that time. I'm sorry. Jeez. Just can't get away from it. Gotta have a tissue box with me wherever I go. We're building the PC. That's what we do on stream. Wow, really? The tab broke off, but the plastic didn't come off with it. So cool. All right. All right. No, I did the chipset drivers. Oh, okay, okay. Cool. There we go. Now we're getting that plastic off. The adhesive for the plastic was stronger than the adhesive for that little tab. Crazy. Pretty sure this has plastic on it too. Yep. Okay. Same with this. All right. Should be good now. These things I feel like sometimes have plastic on them, but can't tell. So I've tried to like scrape them several times and they never have anything come off. So it's fine. What up, Sir Rat? Or thrice. Oh gosh, okay. I still download my Nvidia drivers from the web and install them in safe mode. The app always has some bugs in it. Yeah, I usually don't use the Nvidia app to install my drivers. I don't typically do it in safe mode these days, especially since I have a 40 series GPU. I don't have the vulnerability like the 50 series did. But yeah, better safe than sorry, right? About to build your first PC with 32 gigs of RAM, 5800 XT, 5060 Ti. Can't wait because the best graphics card I've ever seen was a GTX 570. Oh, dude, you're gonna love that build then. GTX 570 is getting a little old. All right, Ryzen 5 8500G, 6 cores, 12 threads, and a pretty solid built-in graphics capability. All right, let's get our SSD in there. Yeah, and if you can swing the price, get the 5060 Ti 16 gig, or you could get the 9060 XT 16 gig, which I think right now is like $100 cheaper than the 5060 Ti 16 gig. Last I checked a few days ago. All right. Let's get this RAM this SSD installed. 7600 XT 16 gig for $150. That's not bad. The app just has some problems sometimes. Like it doesn't necessarily like fully wipe your old driver beforehand sometimes. And then with the 50 series, especially when they first came out, sometimes when you tried to install a new driver, you would like basically brick your GPU. That was going on with the 50 series. So like when the 50 series first came out, I was updating every single GPU driver when I built them by doing a DDU uninstall, going into safe mode, installing the driver in safe mode, and then booting back to normal Windows mode. It was pretty crazy times. Yo, Prime Gorilla, thank you for the follow. Mr. Rainbow subscribed again. How many months has Mr. Rainbow been subscribed now? Let's see what it says. 20 months? That's crazy. Hold on, I gotta blow my nose again. I'm sorry, guys. Ugh. Better. It's crazy. It's been almost 2 years, Mr. Rainbow. What up, Jay Purdue? Another day, another build. That's right. That's right. I'm doing pretty good. I've been sick for the past week, so that's fun. But I stream in 1080p. Maybe your like thing is set to 720p. Sometimes the auto does that. All right, 32 gigs of RAM. Weird. Any advice before you build your PC tomorrow? Start cable managing early if you want it to look nice in the back. It's probably the best advice I could give. You can watch some videos of mine that might be similar to what you're building to see how I put it together. It's CL32 6400. Watching it for some nostalgia, love that. been installing drivers for 50 series graphics cards for almost 6 months. I'm glad I didn't break mine. I never had one break on me, and I was super careful early on. Later on, they said they had fixed all those problems, and so I stopped doing that a while back. But yeah, I think that the biggest thing that usually happens now with using the app, if you don't ever do a DDU uninstall, is like sometimes you can start experiencing like games crashing and stuff because there's like cache files and stuff that didn't get deleted fully. So if that starts happening, you can go back and like DDU uninstall to like fully clear out anything, like any files that could be in there, and then reinstall the driver, and then you'll be good. But yeah, if you're not having any problems, it's not a big deal. You don't need to do it all the time. I don't do it every time. I definitely do a DDU uninstall occasionally just to make sure everything's staying clean in there, but it doesn't need to be every time. I got a free 5700G and 16 gigs of Kingston Fury with it. That's nice. Yeah, that's solid. Yeah, the 5600G is pretty similar to the 5600X, so. And then, yeah, getting free RAM right now. Free RAM right now is an awesome deal. Worst part about it is I have a 1050 PSU and it only takes up like 600 watts. No, that's better. You don't want to use the full capability of your power supply. If you use like the max capability of your power supply, then your power supply will not last as long. It's going to run hotter, and it'll end up failing quicker. And that also means there's less headroom. So if you had like a weird power spike for some reason from your GPU or whatever, and you go over like what the power supply is capable of, you can damage either the GPU or the power supply. So it's always good to have an oversized power supply. I want to host a Minecraft Bedrock server on Linux. I wonder if I should buy an old used PC and upgrade, or buy new parts and build a PC. I've heard you can do that with pretty minimal specs. So I would maybe just find an old used PC and try and do it. And we're not going to get political in the chat here, so it doesn't matter what side you're on of any given issue. It's not what we're here for. Yeah, I usually shoot for no less than 20% headroom when I'm building stuff, just to make sure that the PSU is going to last a long time, and it gives you a little more flexibility to upgrade down the road. So like with a 5080 build, I'm always doing a 1000 watt power supply. Even though that only uses like, at most that system's going to use 500 or 600 watts. With pricing as it is right now, probably AMD. Unless you're going super high end, then like Nvidia is really the only option. But if you're not going super high end, AMD's pricing right now is definitely better. If you are gaming and streaming from the one PC, there's definitely some benefits to having Nvidia to have that NVENC controller or NVENC encoder. But AMD's encoder isn't bad either. Gonna go eat some dinner? All right. Let's get some thermal paste on, dear. excess off there. Okay, that's pretty good. What up, Ibrahim? Type in exclamation point specs if you want to see the specs. Diesel pump slow tonight. Got to go pull into the. You got to go pull into the commercial vehicle one, then you'll fill up real quick. How long do you think it'll take for RAM to level back out? We honestly don't know. It doesn't seem like it's going to be even this year, because it takes so long to really ramp up like more production, and the demand for the data center RAM doesn't seem to be going down right now. So it's a big question mark for everybody right now, unfortunately. What up, Richard? How we doing? No, you cannot have a free PC. Yeah, you want a free PC in this economy? Come on. What do I look like? You guys are trying to thaw out? Oh yeah, you guys got hit in Texas too, which is crazy. No commercial pumps on your route? Bummer. Is TikTok even working today? It didn't seem like it was really working on my phone today. I saw a few people have joined, but it still shows my total viewers at 0. Like people have joined, but it doesn't count that anyone's actually seen it. CXMT is aggressively expanding, trying to capitalize on consumer RAM. Could bring some relief. That'd be nice. SAMA 3509 is the case. It's just a little mid-tower ATX case. How do you feel about increased SSD and storage prices? It sucks. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, the SSDs that I was buying, 5 months ago for $60 are now like 150. So it's pretty lame, if you ask me. Pretty lame. Obviously, there's nothing I can do about it except, order stuff when I see a decent deal so that I can have stock that's, reasonably priced. That's kind of the best I can do. Okay. Back on the road, let's go. Did my build your PC last month, IT. It booted up on the first try. Hell yeah, isn't that a good feeling? Yeah, this Assassin Digital is so nice. For 25 bucks, getting, an RGB cooler with the little display. It's a very limited display, like you can't do everything with it, but for 25 bucks, man. And it does a good job of keeping stuff cool. Like, any sort of like Ryzen 5, it's going to do a really good job of keeping that thing cool. You could probably even cool a Ryzen 7 with it. I just prefer to only do tower air coolers on the cheaper CPUs. All right. That's all on there. There we go. Let's get our case out here. The SAMA 3510. Yo, any advice on being unable to pull out a DisplayPort cable out of your GPU? It's stuck in there? Is it because like the case, like little metal piece is like kind of obstructing it or something? Oops. It's fine. Just tap the side of the motherboard. All right. That. What up, MX? I've had some rare DisplayPort cables that you need to pinch to take out for some reason. Oh yeah, there are a few like that. Yeah, I've had a couple like that as well. Yeah, make sure it doesn't have like a lock on it, because some of them do. WPC build, just say minty. Oh, I see it now. Okay. Minty. I'll remember that, hopefully. Yeah, I feel like a lot of the display, now that you say that, I think a lot of the DisplayPort cables back in the day used to be like that. Like had a lock on them, so they couldn't just like come out. All right. So this looks like it's set up for ATX mostly, but I'm missing a couple of the standoffs here. Working on a build right now, everything installed, but the PC won't turn on. I thought it was just the button, but I've done the power button wire a few times now, it just won't start. No. Oh no. I've had a few like dead on arrival power supplies too, so you know, you never know. Show my son 2 gig Zotac with DVI connector recently. He's like, what the heck is that thing? Thinking about building my first real PC. Is there a way I can DM you for advice on the build? Yeah. The easiest way is probably to go to my Discord server and reach out there. And I can put together like a build list or something for you. All right. Got all of our standoffs in. Let's get our motherboard in here. Nothing's sticking out, okay. All right. There we go. That all looks pretty lined up. Cool. Yeah, because usually if it won't power on at all, it's either like, yeah, if you've tried jumping the power cable or the power pins directly and it still doesn't work, yeah, you could have a power, either a power supply issue or maybe all of your cables aren't plugged in correctly or something, or not plugged in fully. Definitely check all your cables, power cables specifically. Yo, thank you for that, Globetrotter. Appreciate you. On my tiny screen here, it looks like corn. Oh no, it's a lightning bolt. Thank you for the 3 lightning bolts, bro. Do I need to click the power button or will it just start up? I mean, it won't just start up on its own. You do have to click the power button, but you could try. There's 2 pins down here on the front panel where your thing comes together. You can short the 2 pins with like a screwdriver or something metal, and see if it'll fire up that way on it without even the case connected. Type in ! Discord. Pretty sure that command is set up and working. Ooh, ooh. What up, Czar? Just watch a tutorial before trying the pins. What do you mean a tutorial? I mean, really all you got to do, so I can show you guys live on stream here what you have to do. I mean, obviously it won't turn on because it's not powered in. It doesn't have power or anything. But if you look at the front panel header here, there's 4 pins along the top and there's 5 along the bottom. You just got to pick on the top row pins 3 and 4 counting from the left, and you just touch your screwdriver to both of them at the same time for about, you know, half a second or whatever, and that will turn on the computer. Front panel connectors always mess up first build? Really? Oh, you mean like putting them in the right place? Yeah, that's fair. Hold on, I gotta blow my nose again, guys. All right. I need to get that center one in. Usually my Linus Tech Tip screwdriver is too big for it. Not that one. First time builders seem to panic over them. That's fair. If you had to choose, would you pick a Ryzen 5 3600 for $40 used, or Ryzen 5 5500 for $70 used? I would have to look at the specs again. I don't recall the the speeds and the onboard cache difference between the two. Take a look at the boost clock frequency and then the CPU cache, like the L3 cache of each. And that would be what I would use to make my decision on those. All right, there we go. All tightened down. Yo, Minty, thank you so much for the follow, dude. What up, Remy's? How we doing? Some compressed air dusters contain LPG, which can be lethal. I just use an electric air duster to clean my PCs. I don't use canned air. How much does this build cost? Well, right now it's currently on the website for after shipping in the US, it's like $1,500-ish. But I said earlier, we're probably going to be pulling down all of our pre-builts here pretty soon just because pricing is so volatile on RAM and SSDs and even starting to become that way for GPUs again, that I'm probably going to start doing like a few ready-to-ship builds and then everything else is going to be custom. Oh, well, that sounds like you have a problem. That sounds like you have a problem. All right. Shouldn't be doing that, probably. All these just random twist ties in here that aren't doing anything. No, I'm not going to try it. If you tip the can over a spray, you're going to get liquid air, or in some cases, liquid LPG out. There you go. See? Rory's on it. Double the L3 cache on the 3600, so there you go. This is why we have a community, because I don't know all the answers live on stream. Oh, that came out. This is why we have the community. Sorry, you guys can't see anything I'm working on. The CPU cooler fan came out of the port when I was trying to... There we go. All right. So, let's get those pulled to the back. Like that. Get this USB pulled to the back as well. So this guy, we'll run it along over here, then down to a USB port along the bottom there. Okay. We got that plugged in. We've routed this out, and then we're gonna have to kind of half route it back in. Let's plug that into an RGB header here along the top. Okay, so we got that in there. All right, we got another RGB at the bottom. All right, let's get some of this other stuff connected. We've got HD audio. What's the round thing, an anti-static pad? Oh, this? No, this is just, it's just a piece of wood. It's just some painted wood. I bought the thing underneath, which is a Lazy Susan, and then found, I think it's supposed to be like a, what's it called? Like a stool top or something like that from like Home Depot, and then I just like painted it black so I could use it for building. All right, USB 3 is up there. Go through that top spot. Okay, got our USB 3 in there. All right, let's deal with some more of these cables. Yeah, it's basically a big turntable. Makes it a lot easier to build in. What's up, Call Me Cam? How we doing? I respect the budget builders, especially the used parts hunters. Yeah, I don't do used stuff unless like somebody brings in their own stuff for me, just because like for warranty purposes, I can't really justify doing that and then still warranting it like a new build. But yeah, I definitely respect it, man. The front is a mesh. Yep. Talking like $60 for a used 2070 or 1070. Yeah, I mean there's a lot of great deals on used stuff, especially if you go back a generation or two. Lazy Susan for PCs, that's right. Do you think the 10 series cards are still a good choice for budget builds? Yeah, I mean, like if you went 1070 or 1080 or 1080 Ti, you can still do okay with them for a budget system. But if you're playing in 1080p, like you don't need a ton of VRAM and stuff, and the newer cards have much faster cores. So you might even still be better off with like a lower end, 30 series card, or like a 6000 series card, just because they're on such newer hardware. But again, I don't know, they use market pricing super well, so it could be that they're not, really in the same ballpark in terms of pricing. Right, and then power switch. Okay, got our front panel stuff in there. All right, so all that stuff is in there. You can start working on some cable management here before this gets too out of hand. To know, like the 3060 12 gig, for example, goes for about 150. Yeah, so it's probably not really in the same. I mean, I guess I don't know what a 1080 goes for. Can you guys believe that Nvidia is talking about re-releasing the 3060 in 2026? Like, how bad do you have to fumble for that to be like a viable thing to do as a company? It's crazy that they're even doing that, talking about doing that. Yeah, 3060 Ti 12 gig still definitely does good work. Or 12 gig or 16 gig? I thought 3060 Ti was an 8, or I guess yeah, it was a 12 gig option. They didn't sell a lot of the 12 gigs though. They weren't really super available. All right, got that started. Get some cable ties in here to start holding some of that down. Yeah, isn't that mind-boggling? They're doing that. I mean, I don't know if they're actually going to do it. They haven't done it yet, but they definitely talked about it. They talked about it. $5070 Ti Ryzen 9 9950H X 3D laptop. With frame gen, you could probably get away with 4K. I mean, do you need to be like super mobile when you're gaming, or what's the thought behind getting a laptop instead of a desktop? Main system 1070 still does this job really well. Yeah, that makes sense. No, we're not putting fans on the top in this one. This is a very budget-friendly system. It really doesn't need any fans on top. You're a game designer, needs something with a good kick in traveling 24/7. Gotcha. Makes sense. My new PC case has a horrible humming resonance problem at certain RPM. I haven't found a way to fix it yet. Should I try? I mean, it might just be the type of fans that they use, or is it rumbling the case itself? Or is it just the actual sound of the fans don't sound good at a certain RPM? Rubber pads or different fan curves didn't work. Guess what worked? I just got the SSD and everything is working great. Hey, I love to hear that. Recently stumbled upon a 6 terabyte drive for $45 US. Don't know if it's worth it. Is it a hard disk drive? I imagine it must be for that price. Smart data shows it has 5.5 years of runtime. It's not terrible if it's like an enterprise drive. The whole case is vibrating. The airflow alone makes the backplate hum, for example. Oh, that's weird. I mean, I don't know that RMAing it. Like, I don't think that getting a new version of the same case will really help you there. It sounds like a design issue more than a quality issue. In my opinion. Okay, yeah, NAS drive, so yeah, I mean, it's designed to go for a really long time. But I mean, if it depends on what you're going to use it for. Like, if you want to use it just for like bulk storage and stuff, it's great. If you're going to put games and stuff on it, it's not so great, just because it's going to mean slow loading times for games, you know. I mean, you're definitely not going to find an SSD in that price point with that much storage, though. Couldn't stiffen it nor glue it or anything, and I'm now thinking of just replacing it with a Be Quiet silent case. It's not a bad idea. Get a good quality case. All right, so we've dealt a little bit with our just mountain of cables here, most of which are pre-installed in this case. Let's get some power cables in here, and then we can kind of continue working on that cable management. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's great for storage. Like, if you just, you know, if you want to use it as like a backup drive for your system, stuff like that, like, it's great. If you want to use it for gaming, it's not going to be amazing, but, you know, it'll still work. Just not ideal. Upgrading my system, I like to know what I should upgrade first. You have the AMD Ryzen 7 7700 and an RTX 4060. I would upgrade your GPU first. Get like, you know, a 5060 Ti 16 gig or a 9060 XT 16 gig, and that would be a big leap in terms of performance. I mean, it all depends on how much you want to spend on upgrades, but is 8 gigabytes good for a gaming GPU? Yeah, I mean, 8 gigabytes is kind of the minimum these days for new GPUs. Perfectly fine for 1080p, a little bit limited for 1440p, but it'll definitely still, you can still game at 1440p with an 8 gigabyte GPU if it's, you know, new enough. You have a Plex box with like 100 terabytes of HDD drives. Nice. Just hope the seller either takes it back or I can sell it to someone. Don't want to pay double for a case I don't need. Yeah, it's tough. All right. One PCIe cable, one SATA cable, one CPU power cable, and an motherboard tray. Okay. That's all of our cables that we need. Gosh, you guys, this is terrible. I gotta blow my nose again. I wish I could say that this is like me getting over it and it's just getting everything out, but it's been like this for like 3 days where it just keeps coming. All right. Hopefully that mute actually works and you guys aren't hearing me blowing my nose. Yeah, the 7700 is still great for gaming. Rate my build 12600K 5060, Clearmaster Elite 32 gigs, Kingston memory, 600 watt power supply. I mean, that's a great, great build, man. I mean, it's very, very well balanced. Obviously, it's not high end, so like, I'm sure you know that, but like as far as balance and picking the right parts so that your system like makes sense, like that's solid, dude. And you still have upgrade paths. Like you can always, like you can go up to a 14th gen Intel CPU without having to change anything out. You just got to make sure your BIOS is up to date. And you can always update your GPU as well, but that one is a little bit tougher because you would have to probably get a bigger power supply if you update your GPU to something bigger, more powerful. I cannot see what I'm doing here, you guys. Try to get the CPU power cable in here. I kind of hate sometimes that the CPU power cables come split, even though I know why. I just hate it sometimes. There we go, I got it. We did it. Here we go, okay. I can stop complaining about it now. Okay. It didn't, we heard everything? Stop, you did not hear everything. Wait, you guys can hear me? Can you guys hear me when I blow my nose? Like that little mute button on my receiver doesn't actually work? Is that what you're telling me? This is a serious moment, you guys. Just wondering, do you only do vids about PC builds, or do you also do like hardware repair? Usually if I do a hardware, like if I do repairs or like diagnostics and stuff, I will sometimes do like short form content on it, but I don't do that live. I didn't hear it, I think it works okay. Hell no, you're killing me. Don't scare me like that. Put that man in a timeout. Five-minute timeout for that. How dare you? How dare you give me a heart attack like that? All right. Let's get that. Let's get one last one in there. RTX 5060 Ti 16 gig, is that good? I was thinking to get the Prime one. I love the Asus Prime, dude. I love Asus Prime for the GPUs. It's such good stuff. Their motherboards not so much, but their GPUs, the Prime range is super solid. My monitor only supports G-Sync. Am I stuck with Nvidia? I just don't turn on G-Sync. I don't use it. I think most of my monitors are G-Sync compatible, but you can just turn it off. I wouldn't use G-Sync anyways. Let's say I build a PC for someone. How much % would you recommend upcharging him? It's at the moment I'm building a PC for one of my cousins and don't want to be too greedy, but at the same time want to make some money off of it. I mean, if you're not doing it professionally and stuff, you know, maybe 5 or 10%. And you're not going to like warranty it or anything like that. So yeah, somewhere in the 5 to 10% range. Yeah, since I run a business now, I don't charge like my immediate family, but I charge my like extended family and friends, you know, a discounted rate. Except my wife's 92-year-old grandmother. I do not charge her for working on her like 13 or something, 15-year-old HP or Dell or whatever she has. I don't charge her for that. Everyone else, though, they just get a discounted rate. Is there anything you could do to upgrade your old i5 8500 1070 without a new motherboard? I don't think so. Because 9th and 10th gen, if I remember right, 9th and 10th gen are on one socket. 11th, or is 9th gen on the same socket? 10th and 11th gen are on the same socket, I think. And then 12 through 14 are on the same socket. So I guess maybe 9000 series? Hold on, where's my phone? Intel 9000 series socket is LGA 1151. What about Intel 8000? I wasn't really building PCs back then, so not as knowledgeable. Yeah, so you could go up to a 9th gen. You could go up to a 9th gen. They're on the same socket. But personally, I would... you want me to see my drink? Come on. It's a Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar Cream Soda. Jump from the 5070 Ti to the 5090, is it worth it? In terms of performance, it is a noticeable jump. In terms of the just sheer cost of a 5090 right now, I don't know how to answer that. It's very subjective. Sheer performance, it is a very noticeable jump. In terms of, is it worth it for the price? It's hard to say, because the cheapest 5090 that I have seen in the past week is like $3,600. The old friends and family, yeah, it's tough for sure. G-Sync is only good if you're trying to cap frames. Yeah, exactly. It said 8th gen and 9th gen are in the same socket though. Yeah. Yeah, you can go from one to the other. Isn't 5090 like 5K right now? No, that was just like a prediction of where they're expecting the 5090 pricing to go. You can get them for around $3,600 right now. The way you have your fence set up, it seemed like mine. I'd like to know if I add 3 more fans on top, would that make a good difference? I mean, if your system is getting kind of warm, adding fans to the top will definitely help. How about talking MSRP price? MSRP price for what? The 5090? It doesn't matter because you can't find them for that. Gonna sleep now? All right, Dominus, thank you for being in here. Official Adam, not unless you max out every other aspect of the build and have a 240 Hz 4K monitor. But if that is the case, then yes. You have a 13700K for your current build. Why should I go AM5 for the next build? If you go high-end AM5, you can get more performance out of it. Like you get more FPS with an X3D chip than with any of the Intel chips. That's really the only reason. That's the only reason. Yes. Yes, Annette Krems. Never had a GPU in your life? You should change that. I have 5090, but I got mine at the sweet spot a few months back. Yeah, that's smart. I had a handful of the 5090 Founders Editions on release, which was pretty cool. So I got to build some PCs with those in them. Obviously, I didn't keep one for myself, which maybe I should have, but I didn't. I was like, you know, I'd rather have the money from a PC build with this than have a sweet 5090. Mostly because I don't want to have to water block another GPU on my system. I'm already on my second GPU in that system because I decided to change it. And I don't really feel like doing that again. And I'd have to redo the hard lines. You have 64 gigs of DDR4 RAM right now. Do you think I should sell it right now as new Chinese DRAM manufacturers starting to pop out? I just don't know how much those guys are going to make it to our market, or if they'll be good enough quality to like take any significant chunk of the market. I mean, if you're not using it, like if you're not using it and you don't have plans to use it, then yeah, sell it while it's hot. Take advantage. If you're actively using it, then, you know, don't. Okay. I mean, it's not going to drop in price anytime soon. They're forecasting these RAM prices to be going through at least to this whole year. It takes a long time to ramp up a manufacturing facility. And then there's the whole, you know, China and the US not playing nicely together. I don't know how that would affect stuff. Yes, the net crime. So yeah, everything that I've said kind of is in the reference of gaming. If you're doing productivity stuff, like if you're doing engineering work, if you're doing like modeling, if you're doing graphic design, Intel typically works better with most of those programs for those types of work. So if you're doing something like that, like something professional, it is likely that an Intel CPU will work better for the non-gaming type tasks. Yes. dial's on the right. Of course it is. So this little hub here is SATA powered. So we gotta put our little SATA cable in there. You'll sell it then need it the next day, right? Thermalright seems to be like the go-to brand for affordable coolers. It is. It 100% is. Ever since Deepcool got kicked out of the US market, Thermalright has been an absolute godsend for budget ballers that want new stuff. And they make so much stuff. Like, they have so many coolers on the market. I don't even know how anyone would ever keep track of all of their models. Like, there's a hand, you know, I know about probably, like, by name, I could probably tell you like 10 or 12 different models from Thermalright, but there's like 100 of them. They have so much stuff out in the market right now. But like $25 for this cooler that has a little display on it. They're like normal, you know, air or CPU AIOs are like $50 for a 360 millimeter AIO. Like, you can't beat them, man. You can't beat them right now. All right. And then GPU, we do have a slot there for the GPUs. Let's fish this guy over to the front. Okay. There's our GPU power cable there. We'll take this off before I forget. All right. Could pull those together a little bit. Threadripper or Intel Xeon? That, I don't know. I don't do enough with Pro Series stuff to really be able to answer that. And it really depends. Like, there's so many models. There's so many generations out there. It's hard to say. All right. That mischief's pretty well managed, I'd say. It's not perfect, but it's, you know, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. All right. Let's get our GPU in here, shall we? RTX 5060 Gaming OC from Gigabyte. This is a 3-fan model. There's not a lot of 3-fan model 5060s out there, but this one was a really good deal. It was like $290. That case is so 2024. Well, the budget is so 2024. Low-key cheap Chinese coolers are underrated. Yeah, I worry about the longevity of some of those, and it's worth, you know, if it's extra $20 to have a really good quality thing from Thermalright that I can trust. My 4060 Ti 16 gig gets very hot while I play in games. Is it normal when I go to touch the glass, you can feel the heat. It is normal, but like, what sort of temperatures are you talking about? Ask away, Slayer. Wait, I missed something here. Oh, you just built a 64-core Threadripper, 512 gigs of RAM, 59's a monster. Dang, that is a monster, man. Genuine question I'm having right now. I upgraded all my setup except my gaming keyboard and mouse that I got for $10 each. What's the benefit of upgrading? So with the nicer mouse and keyboard, you get better polling rates. So you'll have better response, like less, miss inputs on especially on the mouse in terms of like where it actually should stop going to versus like where it shows on the screen. Sometimes better quality, sometimes better features, and then on the keyboard, same sort of thing, like just a little bit better quality, maybe a little bit better in terms of response rates, and then longevity. But like, it's not going to be, unless your stuff is like really not working well, you're not gonna like notice a big difference in gaming, unless it's just like way more comfortable to use kind of thing, and you just feel better using it. Unless you're like a pro. But you don't have to spend a ton of money. Like I really I use the Logitech G703 Lightspeed mouse, and it's like, I think it's like $60 right now. I really enjoy that mouse. I've owned this is like my third one. And then, keyboards, you don't have to spend a lot. You can get something from like Red Dragon or something like that that's got decent quality, but it's only like $50. You have that case, it's okay. It's just okay, honestly, I go for something else. What case, Weekend Tech? What's up, brother? How are you holding up with the RAM apocalypse? Hopefully you're doing fantastic. Wish you all the best. Sales are still coming in. I was a little bit worried for sure that sales were gonna just like take a dive. Stuff's still coming in. I'm gonna have to change my strategy a little bit. I mentioned it earlier, but I'm probably gonna be like, quote unquote, discontinuing my pre-builds and doing just custom builds and ready to ship builds. So I'll have a handful of like ready to ship builds on the website that are literally like built and like ready for just being sent off. Come on. There we go. Just because of how volatile pricing is right now. But besides that, like, yeah, stuff's still going pretty well. We've got like 3 builds in the queue right now, not including like the stuff I'm building for Loot Fest this year. Which I'm building 2 PCs that will be for gaming and streaming off of at Loot Fest. I have those all planned out and everything's ordered. I just got to build them. But yeah, no, things are going pretty well, surprisingly. TikTok's having troubles today. TikTok's been having problems since yesterday. G305 is low-key peak. G305 is nice. I just like the feel of the G703 more. What's the best CPU and GPU for an HP Pavilion desktop? I don't know, man. I don't know. Oh, yeah, I don't know pre-builts from HP much. They're usually kind of garbage. 70C is about where you should be. Anything more, you need to look at solutions. Yeah, I didn't see what temperature John said. Heard about the light speed being an alternative to the big one. Yeah, exactly. It's like it actually uses the exact same sensor as the Pro, and yeah, I love it. Yeah, you just gotta like do a little bit of research for like good budget mouse and keyboard, because there's a lot of good ones out there that are not super expensive. You just gotta look for them. You know, it's not gonna be as, you know, they're not gonna be as well marketed and everything. I can't really go from in there anyways. Okay. Really, Czar? That's pretty impressive. I've never done mods on like a mouse. Honestly, mouse keyboard type stuff, you can get nearly new / high-end stuff from Marketplace. That's true. The one thing I look for with keyboards specifically, and this is not a requirement, but hot swappable switches are something that I always make sure I get nowadays. Because I've had switches go out on some keyboards before, and if you don't have hot swappable switches, then you're kind of just up a creek in the, unless you want to resolder a switch to replace it, you're kind of screwed. So yeah, find something that has hot swappable switches if you want to have it for a long time. RTX 3050 6 gig low profile to go with the 5700G. It's not terrible, especially if you can get the 3050 for like a good price. Like I think people harped on the 3050 a lot when it came out, but it was mostly just because the price to performance was not a good value. But it's not a bad card. Custom builds are the way now. You can't really put a firm price on some parts. It's such a gamble. It is. It's so hard, and I've gotten burned on it. Even with one of these builds, I have another one of these identical that I'm gonna like barely break even on because part prices increased, and I hadn't been paying enough attention to update my listing on Shopify. All right, there it is, folks. What do we think of that? It's a PC. I don't love that we have to run the cable all the way over here, but there's no other way to get it there. All right, let's set some mood lighting here, and then we'll show off the build a little bit. How about that? Alrighty. PC building for profit has to be rough right now. It is. Luckily for me, I'm doing this out of my house, so I don't have a bunch of overhead anymore. I don't have employees. Like, as far as like being able to stay profitable right now, I'm in probably the best spot I could be. But either way, it's still tough. And I feel for the guys that are like big build houses that have, you know, 15, 20 employees, because it's got to be a lot harder for them right now. Probably a Pentium 3. I use a budget Attack Shark 3 and an Aula Win 68 Pro. I think I've heard of the Attack Shark 3. I don't think I've heard of the other one. Is 6 intake and 4 exhaust fans good? Yes, that's perfectly fine. You ideally want to have more intake than exhaust to make sure that your air is coming through filtered places, rather than if you have too much exhaust and not enough, like if you have more exhaust than intake, your PC will start pulling in air from wherever there are openings, and so you can get more dust in your system, which is not ideal. I'm using a random HyperX membrane keyboard for years. There you go. You love how quiet it is? Nice. Yeah. Hot swappable switches, man. Need a good GPU for $300, preferably AMD. Any suggestions? 9060 XT, 8GB. Done. I think those are around $300. Looks good. Thanks, Mr. Rainbow. It is a budget banger. No, it's a somewhat budget-related build, but that case is a sore sight. Nah, dude, it's a fine build. There's nothing wrong with this case. It looks good. There's nothing wrong with that. It's got some nice, like, geometric front on it, and it comes with 4 built-in fans. Nice little budget build. All right, see you later, Czar. Appreciate you being in here. But yeah, this case is like $60. So basically we are doing for the fun of the game. Hopefully we come out of this alive and well. Yeah. Dude, I know. I was looking at it, so I wanted to bring it in from somewhere over here, but the power supply is in the way. So the closest place I'll be able to take it is from back there. So no matter what, it's not going to be ideal, unfortunately. Gigabyte are like the only ones that do this too. They put it on the left on the 5060, and I hate it. I hate it. My lighting is not ideal. You're not wrong. Ugh, dog, what are you doing? Did that really look like a space that you could walk through? Take my knee out? Hi, buddy. Do you guys want to see the puppy? Do you guys want to see the puppy? I think you do. All right, come here. Oh, he's a chunker. He's a chunker. But there he is. Oh, hi. Hey, boy. Yeah. You're just checking on me. Get your hair is everywhere. Yeah, I think they do that for small form factor builds, but yeah, exactly. Like, it's a great value. $60. It comes with 4 fans. They're all PWM. They're all ARGB. Like, it's hard to, it's hard to find something better in that price range. Oh, really? You use the same PSU? I haven't used their PSUs. I've been using, for the cheaper builds, I've been either using ASRock or the Montech Century 2. I usually, the biggest thing, I just say, when you're looking at power supplies, go look at the PSU tier list. It's like a giant Excel sheet, and figure out what power supply you're looking at, and make sure that it's, at least like a B. Yeah, for like a server case or a small form factor case, I think that's why they designed them that way. GPU times 55C? Oh, dude, that's not hot at all. That's perfectly fine. It's not only case, the GPU sucks too. Why they had to put the PCIe port? I don't know. I don't know, Toxic. I don't know. Gigabyte does that with their 5060s. Do I do water-cooled PCs? Yes. Not a lot, because for most people, it's not worth it. But like my system, my gaming PC is water-cooled. I've done a few. It's worse for us non-Americans or Europeans. Nothing ships to us in Newegg. Stop the free shipping on everything. I stopped because of that. Oh, really? Where are you at, I have one in mind, but don't know if I can handle it. You have like custom water cooling in your... You have a custom water cooling build in mind? Honestly, if you do custom water cooling and you're concerned about being capable of doing... Also, JX, thank you for the follow. And you're concerned about being able to do it, maybe do soft lines. It might not... It doesn't look quite as cool, but it's a lot simpler to do. A lot of clueless thoughts in those looks. Yeah, they're just... It's weird, man. He's an Australian Shepherd. He's super smart when he wants to be. But sometimes there's just no thought behind those eyes, you know? Sometimes there's just nothing going on in that brain. Other than that I need to be within 5 feet of him. He's very Velcro. Back in the day when I used to like not work remotely, I would leave and I would leave him outside during the day, so you know we didn't have to let him out to go to the bathroom or anything. Leave his food and water outside with him, and he would jump our like 5.5 foot fence, get out into the front yard, thinking that he could find us out there or something, and our neighbors would call us and be like, "Hey, your dog's out," and he's just chilling on the front yard. So I would like drive home and he's just sitting in the front yard because he thought maybe if he got out to the front he would find me out there. He's such a Velcro dog. But he is cute. He is a cute dog. All right, y'all. We did it. And look, I stretched this out to an hour and a half. I could build this PC in like 35 minutes if I wasn't on stream. So I feel pretty good about that. I think we did pretty good. Yeah, we're gonna hop off here and I'm probably gonna go hang out with the kiddo for a while because my wife's gone at like a workout class or something. And we'll see you guys next time. We've got we literally have an identical build to this one on Wednesday. So maybe a different day. It might be an early stream on Wednesday. We'll see. Wednesday is my daughter's birthday, so I need to figure out when I'm going to do that build. But we've got another identical build to this that we're going to do this week. Date TBD. But yeah. So if you guys like this one, you'll definitely like the next one because it's going to be the same thing. All right, y'all. You met my doggo at your old office one day, dropping off some parts. He is a good boy. He's such a sweet puppy dog. You're just the sweetest. And he's just sitting on my floor. Just sitting on the floor. Just rotting away. Yeah, it's pretty clean, yeah, Trail Tech? Not bad. Not bad. Here, I can even set. There we go. Now they're all even the same color. All right, y'all. You all have a good night. You're welcome, John. Glad we could help out. Hey, Mr. Rainbow, thank you. Have a good night as well. Appreciate you. Good night, Toxic. Peace out. Maybe next time. All right, hopefully I'll see you next time as well. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Goodbye.